Hi there, it's Dr. JOYLYN Sparkles and welcome to your Power Hour. This is your time to put what's on your mind, on my mind, and we will have some strong talk about it, okay? Real talk, no fluff, no bullshit, okay? Because that's my promise to you. That's what I'm all about, because to me, the fastest way is a straight line, so why are we going to skirt around issues and create a bunch of fluffy shit that then we got to sort through to see what's actually true? That's not where I shine. That's not my gift, so that's not what I'm going to give to you, because I am a bullshit slayer. I asked earlier this week, I have a hard time when people ask me what I do, like a simple job description. So I asked you guys, and one person was like, how do you talk about how you cut through bullshit? It's what I do. It's a gift that I have and a gift that I like to use and share with you. So I am a professional bullshit slapper, all right? We will get that shit out of the way so that you can get clarity on you, where you're going, what you're creating, what's getting in your way, so you can actually have what it is you'd like, all right? So thank you for being here, even though I am a shit show and I didn't get all the things together to normally put together an event like I normally do, because, well, what I'm going to talk to you about is a little bit about how the process is going, what's going on now, because you are getting the latest information as far as what I'm pulling. I tend to be kind of a pioneer, going ahead, seeing what's there, coming back, telling you what it is so it can be a little bit easier for you, a little bit less scary. That's my goal and intent. What I'm seeing here is there is a complete, things are falling apart. And as we should know by now, and if we actually look back, anything that says otherwise, we will find to be false. It's going to fall apart to reconfigure better for us. But in that interim where everything's all splayed out, it's what we call a yard sale in skiing, when all your stuff's all over the slope. It's uncomfortable, okay? And I'm there, and so sometimes the day-to-day living stuff can actually be hard. Hang on one second. Nope. Stimpy. Nope. Can't do it now. Sorry. I don't even know why he's barking, because sadly, California, this neighborhood doesn't have squirrels. So, who knows? Okay, so I titled this 2022 Trusting You, a How-To. And whoa, did I come up with a rhyme marathon there, okay? Because that's what all of this disintegration is really to build trust in ourselves. Why, oh why, universe, can't we do it in these neat little exercises and worksheets? I don't know. It comes this way, all right? Because I guess it's just faster, if we're actually honest about it. And I don't know about you, but I'm built for speed. I want it faster. I want it greater, better. So universe said, here you go, on a silver platter, and I'm saying yuck. But, well, that's how it is. So this stuff is coming up strong. And regardless of where you are, don't let this be scary. Just let yourself know that even if things are great and you're coasting right now, enjoy it. Enjoy it, because that's real too. But then when it falls apart, it's not evidence that you did anything wrong, that you're being punished, that you're being tested. It's a falling apart. It's a reconfiguration. This is more of a non-linear process that we're really going into, okay? And so here's where I did break it down in a somewhat coherent way. So when it comes to trusting you, you have been programmed not to. All of us were. We have been programmed to trust someone or something outside of ourselves more than ourselves. Authorities, religious figures, the school system, we're looking now, science, facts, figures, research, all of these things are presented in a way as if they have authority over us. And we have bought it. And when we're small, we actually know that we need someone else to take care of us. And so to some extent what they say goes. They've got the car keys, they can reach the gas pedal, they make the money, so they get to make the call on what, if you get Lucky Charms or not. That was the big one in my house, like no Lucky Charms, mom said so. And I got no dollar bills to go up against that and say, yeah, we're having it in this house. Okay, so there's some learning and training that went into that of what you want, isn't available to you. But when it's presented in this way of it's greater than you, and I have talked over and over about how that shit's not the big deal, you are. But building that, it's a building. It's a exercise because it's not going to come natural to any one of us because all of us have come into a broken system, meaning the current reality of planet Earth. This is even regardless of if you're very empathic and came into a broken home system, which most of us did, okay? But trusting yourself is not something that comes easy because if you are the sensitive little empath like myself, that when you have tried to assert yourself, you have been smushed and shushed and told that that's not appropriate, okay? So there is a lot of things going into, ooh, I guess I just have to stuff this down, okay? But now we can see that to continue looking for external validation, to keep basing all of our decisions on things that make sense, isn't working the same way anymore. That if we're looking at a car and for some reason the red one just lights us up and oh my goodness, it feels magical, but it's $2,000 more and it doesn't come with this or that feature, then why would I buy that? I need to go with the beige one that's $2,000 less and it has automatic windows. So you go with the facts that make sense, and wouldn't you know, somehow you end up with a lemon. And the person that got the red car is running that little, or I'll say a little 97 RAV4 is going to run into the ground. That's me. I have a 97 RAV4 because I love it. Okay, so it's about trusting you so that you may be saying that there are situations that are coming up presently in varying levels of intensity. For me right now, it's way intense. I've got a couple of clients in the same level of intensity where you're the only one that can make the choice and nothing looks good or feels good right now. And you're facing lots of doubt and fear, even though there is a part of you that absolutely knows 100% certain where to go. These are tough spots. Now, the cycle is, again, like I said, to come together, fall apart, come together, fall apart. This is actually the ebb and flow of life that has always been. It's just somehow we bought into this linear thing of we're just going up. Our economy even, we've been built to think that you can just grow by 6 to 10% every year and that's supposed to be expected. That's actually unsustainable because nothing in nature actually really moves linearly. Actually, pretty much everything in nature moves spirally and cyclically, okay? So there's always this expansion and contraction. So we thought that our life and making all the right decisions would mean a straight line trajectory is a little bit ridiculous. Okay, but what's happening with when all these things falls apart is it might feel like a test, but it's really learning how to build the inner stability. Learning how to go to stillness first instead of freak out. Pay attention to the stillness and what it's saying and to lean into that more. Okay? So here's how I've outlined it. Here's what you already know, but you are likely not going to choose it out of habit. Okay? Reaction's not going to work. Okay? Oh, these are the things you already know, but you already know, but you're likely going to try out a habit. Okay? Reaction won't work. Okay? You already know this, but there's a good chance we're going to end up in reaction. I've totally been reactionary this week. Okay? I've cried a lot. Okay? Problem solving won't work. For those of us who had our little smarty pants hats on and I'm a problem solver, that shit's breaking apart for our own personal lives. Okay, it's just not working. Every time we try to solve a problem, we kind of end up making things worse. Inadvertently, of course, because we're trying to make things better, but it's not working anymore, okay? So things are actually starting to fall apart more and more, and the results that we're getting from our old habits of reaction and trying to fix things and save things isn't working. It's not as satisfactory. And we're left with something that we're very well aware of is patched and taped and limping along, okay? It's really not what we really want anymore, all right? We're becoming very well aware of that, okay? So here's what you also likely know that you're also likely resisting at these moments. Nothing lasts forever, so that this too shall pass. A lot of the reaction is coming from, oh my God, it's falling apart, so it's going to be a shit show forever, okay? Even though nothing has ever lasted forever in the history of the entire universe. And there's a part of us that actually knows that. We're just going to resist it because, well, that seems a little too easy, all right? We also resist knowing that we're going to be okay. And this is going to be okay. Because if we're actually honest with ourselves, that when we look back at everything has always ended up okay. And if we actually are open to being curious about what's really going on, it's probably trauma brain that's responding to perceived stress, not actual threat of death. Now, when it comes to living situations and your car breaking down to where you can't get to work, there are some real stability factors to where it's not like it's understandable and acceptable and you're still lovable for having some freak out moments, because that does sort of touch on your ability to make money. But there is no saber-toothed tiger breathing down your back. There is no person with an actual gun to your head. There are workarounds for all of these things. We just can't see them in the moment. So that's what I'm talking about when we're in beta brainwave patterns, okay? We also know, because I've talked about it endlessly and you know it too, your feelings aren't facts. So they're not actually an accurate gauge of success or the timeline that you're on. Because when you're in that stress state, minutes slow down. If you've never done resistance training, I remember every day in freshman and sophomore basketball, we started it with a 6-minute drill. That was the longest freaking 6 minutes of my life. Do you know what else is long? The 2 minutes of my toothbrush. It's time, but good grief, that's like the longest 2 minutes of my day. Because I got other stuff I want to do and I just got this thing in my mouth, okay? So time is like, there's a warped perception of time. And when you're stressed or in a hurry or in pain or discomfort, it seems to slow down and take a long time, so that you actually like, it could be resolved tomorrow, but that seems like forever, okay? But that's actually really fast. A lot of us are actually aware of things, so it almost seems like they last longer, but we're actually catching things sooner. The timeline's changing. Our feelings aren't facts as far as where we are and how successful we're being, okay? And here's one I know I resist like hell. Surrender, calm and stillness, the actual presence and being with what is, that's where the answer is. That answer that we were trying so hard to get, it comes when we get still. But it's one of the hardest things to do, partly because your trauma brain is going to fight that, okay? But we know it. We know these things. Now, why we're not going there right away, like why this isn't our first, and I say these things just to start to extract the judgment, because that has nothing helpful or useful for us to judge ourselves for where we are or what we're doing, okay? Even if we're a reactive, shit show, hot mess, you're still lovable and it's still going to be okay. We just know that there's a better way to handle it. And the less that we judge ourselves, the faster we're going to get back onto that track, okay? So why we're not doing it already, so that we can stop judging ourselves or anyone else who's struggling with this, is that when we're in these situations, like when things are falling apart in front of our face, or we face planted, like we really put ourselves out there and it did not go the way that we wanted, and so we're recoiling, like our brain's on fire. Okay, we've totally just put ourselves in a situation to where we are in beta brainwave patterns. And our brain's actually literally thinking, I've got to keep us from dying right now. So stop judging yourself for having a physiology that's built to keep you alive. Because you can't change anything if you're dead, okay? At least not on this realm, all right? So relax with yourself. I know it doesn't help because my mom is like, calm down, calm down. I've never had anybody actually calm down because I told them to calm down, or I didn't calm down because somebody else told me to calm down. But if inside I can just be like, okay, I'm in beta right now, that's why everything's, that sometimes just having that level of acceptance can help, okay? It's also your habit to fucking freak out. This is what you've been doing for so long. This is why you're coming to me for a 90-day relationship or model, because you know the habit's not working for you. It's what everybody else does. It's what you saw when you were growing up. It's how you got attention. It's how you rallied support for yourself to get the social resourcing you needed to have some stability to keep moving forward, okay? It's just a habit. It's just been practiced so long, it's just your natural go-to, all right? Now you're aware you don't like how it feels, you don't like how much apologizing and cleanup you gotta do afterwards. You're recognizing that you're not really proud of yourself in the moment when you're behaving like this, so you want something different, that's great. But for right now, it's your habit. It's changeable. For absolute certain, it's changeable. But relax and don't beat yourself up that it is your habit right now, okay? That's just a product of programming, and you can come out of it, and you already are to even recognize this far, okay? So don't judge yourself for having the habit, all right? Yeah, it's the only way you know how to get attention right now. We haven't been taught effective ways, and this was especially true in my marriage, that I didn't know how to get attention, as far as I didn't know how to just plain ask for it. It seemed like it wasn't okay to have it, and that if people love me, they should know that I need it, so they should give it to me without me asking. Like I shouldn't have to ask for attention. That's all stupid bullshit. Like, I have someone in my life who I love more than, I don't know. I love her. She's my sister. She's amazing. And because of her job, this is a super, super busy time of the year. She's pre-tax stuff. She does all the bookkeeping, year-end things. So she's really busy. Well, my life is falling apart and I need somebody. She's not really available. And so I'm holding this space because I know she's not doing anything wrong and I'm not doing anything wrong. But I finally just texted her and said, hey, can you tell me something encouraging right now? I need this and I'm really sorry I'm needy right now. And she fired back immediately, absolutely, blah, 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 because I recognized her life, I recognized what she was in, I gave her honor, but I just plain asked for what I needed because I didn't know how to make that need go away, and as much as I was trying to do it on my own, I needed help. So asking, like learning how to find attention and get what you need, just by simply directly asking, being in touch with that, that's all new. It's new to me even. And so that if you're struggling with this, who's been doing this? I might be the first person that's ever said, oh my God, I never even thought to ask. To where there were times with my ex-husband that I would just say, could you just give me your attention right now? I don't even know why I need it. Have you ever seen little kids? If you ever go to a place with little kids and they're tugging and tugging and tugging on your sleeve, and then once you actually look at them and give them your full attention without being annoyed, they run away. That's all they needed. My niece is the same way. It's called the circle of safety. Because we are social tribal animals and we need to know there's a presence there that we can go to. So it's not about being needy. It's not always about codependency. Sometimes it is, and we'll start to recognize those things as we grow. But sometimes it's just, I'm a human being and I got a social need. I just need somebody to tap into. Can you be there for me? And a lot of times people can say, yes, and it's limited because of their life circumstances, but they can give you a little. They can give you at least enough to keep you going. Or sometimes they can say, I'm not, but here's somebody or something that may be able to, okay? So why you're struggling right now is because this is all a new possibility as far as finding new ways to get attention and get your needs met, okay? Here's another reason, and I'm reading Surrender to Oneself and Engage, Humble Perception of Yourself. I'm going to say yes because, Thomas, you say lots of neat things, but I'm having trouble processing, trying to stay on my outline because, yeah, I'm all over the place today. So another reason you may be struggling, and this one might be kind of like yeah, I could see that. Calm looks like you don't care. And you care. About your own life falling apart, about other people, that you love being in pain, about how your choices might impact others. We're empaths. We're aware that we're all connected. But when you're calm, and depending on how steeped into codependency and enmeshment that you are in your circles, that it might look like you are naive and stupid because you don't realize what's going on. Because if you did, you would be freaking out. That is the current political and economic climate right now. If you're not freaking out and frenzied and worried, then you aren't really grasping the gravity of what's going on here on the planet and in the world. Or is that true? Could you actually be aware of all of it and just decide that your inner peace is actually going to be your priority, and to stay tapped into stillness is how you're going to be able to navigate things better? And that actually is a gift, because when we can be the calm presence, we can actually pervade a space and allow other people to tap into that and remember that's a possibility. But we don't want to look like we don't care. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to appear uneducated or unintelligent. So sometimes we go into reaction so that we can match everybody else and prove that we're intelligent. A really intelligent choice, don't you think? That's a no for people who are going to listen to this on podcasts. That's a no, not our best choice. Okay. Why you might not go immediately to calm and stillness is because you really don't know what else to do. Like I said, you're in beta brainwave patterns. The creativity, the openness, the possibilities, they're not really easily reachable. And for most of us, haven't quite developed the discipline to stilling the mind. A lot of us, and what I find the problem with a lot of mental health things is all they're trying to do is cope with the mind. Not to actually rein it in and say, I am the driver. Because this mental runaround is not who you really are. You are the observer. You are the one witnessing. That's who you truly are. That's your soul presence. So that's who you actually have to bring forward. And it's this mind that you actually have to start observing. So that when you're journaling, when you're talking, you're not reamping yourself up and giving yourself another hit of cortisol. That's what emotional addiction is. That's what a lot of us have been doing. That's what we know how to do. But now we have to start witnessing to where when we're journaling, when we're talking, it's to actually witness, oh my goodness, this is what I've been telling myself. That's actually why I'm so reactive. And I'll give you a for instance. I just had a situation where I reached out to try to establish a relationship. I'm new here, so I'm trying to meet people. So I said, hey, do you want to, meet again? And it was more or less basically a no. Thank you, but that's not, how my life is right now. And here's where I knew I grew. That's freaking fabulous. I love honest, direct communication. That's fabulous. But what hurt so bad, where I started crying, and what I became aware of was that I had a belief that what I want isn't actually available to me. I'm missing something, or it's just not possible for me. Those hurt. Those hurt a lot. And they feel like shit because they're actually not true. But it's like these kind of situations where we're finally, if we can be present to the level of intensity to recognize it's not the circumstance that's causing it, it's how I'm interpreting it. What I'm telling myself is causing this pain. But a lot of us haven't had this kind of training. Our education system doesn't go into this. And a lot of even some of the spiritual stuff is trying to tell us that some of our feelings are wrong, when really they're informers. We just have to go a step further and say, what am I telling myself? Is that true? And so it's just, some of it is just plain, we're not good at this because we just don't have enough time or reps under our belts to actually have this be the go-to, okay? Again, we're in the part where I'm taking out the judgment, okay? I'm not excusing you, because stillness is the answer here, people. This is the only place we're going to get the calm and the awareness that we need to move forward with ease. But why we might not be there right now, and to get out a judgment of why we're not there now, that's what we're talking about, okay? So it's because our brain's in beta, it's a habit, it's the only way we've so far known how to really get attention or get our social needs met. Calm looks like we're not aware of the actual situation. We might be naive or stupid because we don't have the discipline and because we're actually not familiar with calm. Calm for a lot of us is going to get interpreted as boring, as not doing anything, as not caring. We're actually going to buy those things as true. And because it's unfamiliar, the subconscious is going to tell us we can't do this. This is us dying. I am dying when actually I'm calm. Isn't that weird? So we're going to have to build a relationship with calm in our lives, okay? And how I can see this has come up twice really recently with clients and people that I'm working with. We talk too much. We dilute our message. We dilute the truth of what we know by adding more words. We'll say something and then that calm, that space, that awkward silence, kill it. It can't be there. It means something's wrong. So let me add more words in justification for what I just said, when really it's like, no, you said it. It was the truth. You stood there. There's just a quiet right now. Let us learn how to have that, okay? But it is going to be a little bit uncomfortable because it is non-habitual at this time. So it feels unnatural, all right? So that's why we might not be doing this right now, okay? But here's the why we should. And I know I use should like no shoulds, but here's the benefit of if we're willing to lean in and go for stillness, is that peace, relaxation, presence is what actually holds the availability of new possibilities. These conclusions that we're absolutely sure of, that we're fighting like hell to avoid, all of the workarounds and other possible outcomes are available in that stillness. When we relax, we can receive awareness for how it could actually turn out greater. When we relax, we might actually get the awareness of what we're actually aware of in the first place, like the presence of a lie, the presence of an agenda, old limiting belief that's actually got to go because we've named a different target and future that we're going to have. These only become available when we shut up a little bit, okay? And it's where you're being directed. I wrote this last night and I recognize this is for me. So thank you, JOYLYN, for putting this on paper. And I am gifting it to you as well. That going in, this is where you're being directed. Like we're talking about trusting yourself. You are who you're being directed to. When you're feeling like you're squeezed on all sides, it's because the universe is asking you to go in. That is an indicator absolutely every time an upgrade is in process. When you've got nowhere else to go, you go in because that's where you need to go. That's who you need to connect with. This is who's got the answers for you. And not answers. It's not about the right or the wrong. It's not about picking a right or wrong. It's about tapping into, because we know that problem solving isn't. So it's not about, oh, the solution's in me. There's no problems. That's a mind boggler, isn't it? There's no problems. There's only possibilities. What would I like most? What lights me up? what when I think about it makes me get out of bed. Part of the reason I'm late today was because after about 3 solid days of kind of rain and drizzle, the sun was out this morning, and I looked at the weather and I was like, if I'm going to run, it's going to be now. And I chose it, even though it meant I did running meditation instead of sitting meditation, because I was like, I need this movement. I need this activity. I chose something to light me up, even though it makes some other things uncomfortable and inconvenient. I was a little bit late. Didn't get the email out, my bad. But I feel good. You go in to find you. And the more you connect with you, like we're all like stained glass pieces of art. You know, the beauty really comes when the light's shining from the inside. That's when you get to see it from the outside. We're all stained glass here, and the light's coming from the inside. When you're feeling squeezed on all sides, it's because the light's not out there for us, it's inside. And in that, it looks and feels really dark. It might be really scary. But if you just can find a way, and this is where I talk about the emotional handling, the tapping, the breathing, the meditating, the having this discipline of recognizing that there sometimes is an in-between. It's just fucking scary and uncomfortable as hell in the moment. And so it's just, how do I not react? How do I not go into an addiction? How do I not create a bigger problem? How do I withstand and abide in this discomfort, knowing that it's going to break? It's not going to last forever. And what's on the other side is going to be equally magnificent to the intensity of this discomfort, always. To start holding on to those. So a couple of quick hows, because I know we're at time, okay? But a couple of things that have come up. There is tapping. There is breathing. Now, I've heard a couple of people, even my own coach, said when you're stuck in an emotional thing, sometimes you have to do the opposite. I disagree. I'm all about craniosacral therapy. Go in the direction of ease. If you need to cry, cry. If you want to go to sleep, go to sleep. Because the thing that we're going to recognize is you are getting to a point where you're going to recognize indulgence, and you can't keep going there. Because you'll know when you do, it's going to start to feel heavier, and things are going to become more unclear, and things are going to fall apart even more. And so the direction of ease is we go there, because a lot of times it's just, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to feel lonely. And so let me do the opposite. That's kind of what we've been doing. Why don't I just lean in and say, I fucking feel lonely? Why don't I just cry because I feel lonely right now? But then when I cry, I can feel it's like a wash, and there's like this relief. And then after a while, I'm like, now I feel like I'm just crying to cry. Now these are gratuitous tears. Now I'm coming up and generating story, and where my mind was quiet, now there's a bunch of stuff. Now I'm feeling a heart squeeze because I'm telling myself how I'm going to be lonely all the time. Okay, so we're going to start to recognize, because we got to start to recognize, how are we going to learn ourselves if we're unwilling to go to any depths, okay? Go in the direction of ease. It's going to naturally come out. But then also let yourself feel better. This shit was never designed. It was never designed. It was never going to last forever. So that when you naturally start to just feel your mood lifting, go with it. It was always going to be this way. And when you're feeling on top of the world, fucking enjoy it. And when it doesn't go that way forever, don't be surprised, okay? Direction of ease, okay? Other thing, let it come. We do grasp too much. I know I for sure do. I try anything, everything. Sometimes there just is a stillness and a quiet and a darkness. And to sometimes, for lack of like a metaphor, you're in a dark cave, sometimes just stand still so that you don't injure yourself and trip over something and bash your head against a rock that you couldn't see, okay? You kind of crouch down a little bit lower and use your hands to feel around instead of just trying to walk forward into a, stone wall, okay? Breathing in there. Getting kind of an idea of how big the space is. A lot of us react to it, but if we can kind of breathe and you can sense, like, how big is my space? Is it really tiny right now? Am I really super pressed, or do I have a little bit more room than I thought? Okay? Getting some feelers out there, okay? Being willing to explore your environment even though it's entirely dark. Okay? Letting it come, because it will come. Trusting that it will come. That's what's really being built here. Oh, thanks, universe. But it will. It'll come. mine's already starting to break open a little bit. The sun came out this morning. I went for a run. I'm trusting myself. See, it's already changing. All right. Saying things out loud too. Even to yourself, because we do spend so much time in our head. We have to start engaging our bodies. The questions I've asked is, can I feel my feet? We're talking about breathing, getting out and running, moving. Where our bodies go, our minds will follow. And when we're getting stuck and stagnant, sometimes we have to move our bodies in a different way. But also saying things out loud pulls them out of the etheric and theoretical and puts them into the physical. And then we can get a better sense of the energy of it. Is it light or heavy? Saying things out loud also helps, like, we are creators and we create through speech. So speaking things into existence, and when you do that, speak what you want to create, okay? And if you're going to just be spewing because you need to vent, then kind of almost have like a little, here's my container, this is what I'm doing to just get it out. But then do follow it up with, here is what I'd actually like for me. And say it out loud. Start giving yourself your creator power. Say it out loud, okay? That's just something that's very brand new. So I do want you to try that for 2022 because it rhymes, okay? I think, and start asking directly for attention. And I encourage you to do it in a mirror. Can I have your attention? I had a client, she's got a really uncomfortable conversation that she needs to have with someone important in her life. And I said, have the conversation out loud by yourself. Get your body used to these things. We're reconditioning our nervous system in this because this is our navigation vessel here. It's a tool. It's a gift. We need to start engaging and practicing using it so that we can get the information it has instead of trying to turn it off. That's what's creating so much sickness in us, is we're turning it off and we're not feeding it energetically. And then it's going to give us symptoms to say, hey, I've got messages for you. All right. So we got to start engaging with this, and speaking is a very, very easy way to do that. Okay. So trust you. This is hard. It's not particularly meant to be easy because it is designed to get you to go in, to get in touch with you and what feels light and expansive. If it's feeling closed off from the outside, the space is on the inside, okay? Trust you. Speak out loud. Ask for what you need. The help is available. You're not meant to do this alone. I'm here. I'm available. And 2022, I believe, could be the year that you shine through in a way you never even thought possible. So if you're curious about this, we've got a membership that's starting, and I'm going to be blasting you as soon as I get the material ready with what's going to be included. So there's going to be a membership with me that, let me tell you, is affordable as fuck, okay? Because I want you to be happy as fuck. Breaking the bank's not the way to do that, okay? You don't have to prove anything, but I want you to have resources, and a lot of us don't value them unless we actually put some dollar bills behind that. That's just how this reality works, okay? And then consider a 90-day relationship remodel, because that is the one that's going to be the fastest, most customized for you, to where you really get a handle on how the process works, how to get in touch with your body, how to include your body in this process, how to start stripping away and disempowering old limiting beliefs by getting new perspectives from yours truly, who is the bullshit slayer, okay? So get me on your team. I'm available for hire. 90-day relationship remodel. And stay tuned for the membership information that's going to be coming out, because 2022 really is the year for you. I'm just going to keep saying it because it rhymes and I am a word nerd, but do contact me so that we can get this started. All right. 2022, the year to trust you, and I'm going to show you how to. How does it get even better than that? All right. I love you, and have a happy new year. I can't wait to see you again on the other side. Mwah.